Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. As a long-standing entertainment journalist, I have had the privilege of covering major concerts both locally and internationally. I have seen many performances that I would consider great, if not legendary. Listed among the great performances I have seen must be Shined's 1991 Reggae Sunsplash performance in Montego Bay, when he all but climbed every barrier in the venue as he unleashed musical magic. There was also Peter Tosh at the 1982 World Music Festival in Montego Bay, when he took militancy to another level, including performing with his sword. I can also remember a show in Orlando, Florida, when an emerging dancehall spice turned in a sizzling performance that had the venue pretty much eating out of her hands. I'll never forget when she said, "Me's a girl when a fight over man," and the screams almost took the roof off. Like most fans of entertainment, I do have my favorite artists, and thankfully one of my favorite performances came from one of my favorite artists, the legendary Bunny Wailer, at the 1987 staging of Reggae Sunsplash in Montego Bay. In addition to the sizzling on-stage performance, what made the event most memorable was the fact that the promoters began dismantling the stage while Bunny Wailer was performing. The equipment that were being used for the show was slated to be shipped back to Miami that same day. And with the midday deadline rapidly approaching and Bunny Wailer not showing any signs of leaving the stage, they pretty much had to start dismantling it while he continued to please the fans, who were seemingly eager to have him continue, albeit the mid-morning sun was out in all its glory. In reflecting on that morning in Montego Bay and seeing the raw emotion of the local North American, European and Japanese patrons dancing up a storm as a reggae legend sang, I could not help but reflect on what I read unfold in Budapest in 1992 when Michael Jackson took that city by storm as a part of his dangerous tour. Reports are that some of the young fans were so overcome by his dazzling performance that they simply fainted in the face of uncontrolled excitement. There's also the story of the magic Bob Marley unleashed on Zimbabwe in 1980 when he went down there to help the people celebrate their independence, as they finally broke the chain of racial injustice that had plagued them for many years. Reports are that scores of prisoners broke out of a nearby prison and went to the concert to see their hero Bob Marley perform. And interestingly, at the end of the concert, they reportedly voluntarily went back to the prison to continue their sentences. In the case of the Bunny Wailer performance at Reggae Sunsplash 1987 at the Bob Marley Entertainment Center in Montego Bay, his first time on that major event, it was all magic as he hit the stage at the crack of dawn, and everybody was up ready and alert when he said, to announce his presence in the venue. It was as if it was a case of greatness eclipsing greatness, because prior to Bunny Wailer's performance, the fans were treated to majestic performances from the likes of Gregory Isaacs, Half Pint, Leroy Sibbles, Maxi Priest and Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers on what was the final night of the 5-day festival. Clad in a predominantly black outfit, trimmed with red, green and gold, and with his locks flowing down behind him, Bunny Wailer strode purposefully to center stage and just took charge. It was as if the audience had gone to rehearsal with him, as when he opened his set with Rootsman's skanking, the audience joined in like a well-schooled choir. The tempo raised several notches higher when he moved on to Cool Runnings, during which he showed off his immense dancing skills. At that point, Bunny Wailer took a break to address the growing concern that dancehall music was overtaking reggae and spoiling the essence of the music. He pointed out that dancehall was a branch of reggae music and made it clear that without the root, the branch would not flourish. At that point, he lifted the audience in a musical frenzy with the song Ram Dancehall, during which he demonstrated that he too had good DJing skills. With the audience clearly captivated by his onstage display, Bunny Wailer decided to empty his catalogue, and he went hit after hit, rolling out the songs that had transformed him into a solo superstar. With the sun now out in all its glory and the heat and the venue taking on immense proportion, Bunny Wailer exited the stage at 9:45. However, the fans would have none of it and began shouting out more, demanding more of the legendary Wailer. When Bunny Wailer returned, it was as if he had just begun, as he began digging deeper and deeper into his catalogue, and the screams of appreciation got louder and louder. With midday looming on the horizon and Bunny Wailer seemingly in his element, the promoters had no choice but to begin dismantling the stage with him. When Bunny Wailer finally left the stage sometime between 10:30 and 11 o'clock, some of the fans, especially foreigners, began screaming for more, but they were not accommodated, as the workmen intensified their dismantling of the stage. As the local fans began drifting away from the venue, heading for their respective homes, many of the visitors were heading to the nearby beach that surrounded the venue, seemingly to add some splash to the morning sun. Like the Michael Jackson fans in Budapest and the Bob Marley fans in Zimbabwe, these fans had witnessed magic in Montego Bay. It was definitely one of those unforgettable experiences. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freitas. Before you go, please remember to subscribe.